Hey everyone, special service here. I've officially put in over 10 or so hours now into the Battlefield 2042 open beta. After those 10 hours, I think now is a good time to put out my day one impression of the beta. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the in-between. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. First up is the UI. Being that this is a beta, I don't expect any of this UI to be final product. That being said, it's pretty clean and I have minimal issues with it. I find that the loading screens could use some love. I also found that the deploy screen could use a lot of love. The redeploy screen glitches occasionally. Sometimes I'll see text that doesn't really matter or pertain to anything that's currently happening. The actual in-game UI for the tooltips, the driver position, gunner position in vehicles, the ammo counter, your HUD, your equipment HUD, vehicle HUD, everything that I can think of looks pretty good when you're out of the menus and actually playing the game. I can actually see the colors pop on the minimap. It's great. Yeah, everything is good with UI once you spawn in, but everything around that's kind of iffy, so I expect them to iron that out come full release. Talk about movement. Movement is okay. It's a little inconsistent sometimes. Sprinting feels good. The double sprint or the tactical sprint is all right. It works. I don't really notice a speed difference, but I'm sure there is one. Fast vehicles like Jeeps and quads and trucks are okay to drive. They feel responsive enough. They turn when you want them to turn. They don't often careen into walls. Heavy vehicles like tanks and BTRs drive pretty good. They also fight really good, but we'll get into that later. Helicopters and aircraft, I'm a little iffy on. They don't fly like they used to. I'm extremely used to Battlefield 4's vehicle flying. I'm sure it's just a muscle memory thing, but they do not fly like you'd expect. There's a thing called assisted flight. I'm still not entirely sure what assisted flight does, but nevertheless, we'll get into air vehicle combat in a bit. I guess first we should look at weapons. All of the weapons are pretty neat. The assault rifles are what you'd expect them to be. However, I do find that the AK-24 is better than the whatever the futuristic M4 is that we have. I find that it just wins most gunfights easier as long as you hit your shots. It's the simple trade-off of fire rate versus higher damage, simple stuff like that. Snipers, the one sniper that I have tried is pretty consistent. 2 shots to kill, 1 hit kill headshots. Pretty simple stuff. Bullet ballistics are a lot better than Battlefield 4, that is for sure. It's more akin to Battlefield 5 and 1, so it feels better. Shotguns, the one shotgun in the game is insane with slug rounds. Slugs will basically kill from 0 to 20 feet, and then after that it may be a 2-shot or so. Extremely overpowered, but limited in range and capability. LMGs, I only have one LMG unlocked. I've seen another one, but maybe I'm just remembering the UI wrong. LMGs are okay. They fulfill their role of suppression and everything else. Not much to say on them. SMGs, they work how you'd expect them to. Hip firing at close range is suicidal for any enemy that tries pushing you. However, they definitely lack any power at range. They're definitely a close quarters map type of deal. Would not recommend using them anywhere but close quarters. You can try, but good luck. Sidearms, there's the revolver and the Glock in the beta. They both fulfill their roles, though I just find the Glock type pistol, whatever it's called, to be way more reliable and efficient. The magazine is huge. It will definitely save you if you run out of ammo in the primary. The marksman rifle is extremely good at close range and long range. It's a fantastic in-between of a sniper rifle and an assault rifle. It just works. It's great. Other than that, no complaints. There's 2 types of grenades in the beta. There's the fragmentation grenade and there's the sensor grenade, similar to Battlefield 4's sensor grenade. I don't find that the sensor grenade really has a use, especially with certain specialists in the game, but that's alright. There's the vehicle call-in button, which is great if you're in the middle of nowhere and no one's picked you up from spawn and you don't feel like walking 200 miles to objective. You can just have a Jeep or a fast vehicle drop in so you can just get to an objective and get back in the fight. You can also spawn the Ranger robot killer dog. It's pretty helpful in gunfights if you're solo trying to capture an objective by yourself. You have the main battle tank and then you have the BTR as well, which is partly AA. Both of those vehicles have a limited amount that can be spawned at once, but if no one's using them, you might as well take them because it just helps out. For equipment, we have the medical supply crate, the ammo supply crate, we have C4, we have the recoilless M5, we have the repair tool, we also have an armor plate that gives you 20 extra health, and then we have the AA rocket as well. Both the Carl Gustav recoilless M5 and the AA rocket, I believe, have 3 or so charges. Same with the C4. I believe the armor plate is a 1 to 2 charge item. The medical crate and the ammo crate are infinite use. And I believe that's everything I've covered. Every gadget functions like you think it would. I haven't really had too much time to use the repair tool because often vehicles seem to blow up if they're being targeted pretty quick, just as it should be. C4 has worked as you'd expect. You can strap it to a Jeep and crash it into a tank. You can run up to the tank, stick a bunch of C4 on it, detonate it. 3 seems to do the job just fine. On now to the plus system with the weapons. The plus system is a really interesting concept, and I know a lot of people were complaining about how, oh, you should come with a weapon that's designed to do what you're going to do, but the ability to change my assault rifle into a semi-DMR so I can take long shots at snipers pinning down my team is a really, really cool thing to do. You swap off the scope for higher magnification, you change the barrel, you take off the suppressor, you put the compensator on, you install the foregrip, you change to high velocity or armor piercing rounds, and you just blast whoever is miles away, and you turned your weapon into something completely different. It is super interesting and it's super fun to do. I've turned my AK multiple times into a semi-DMR, despite the AK probably being the worst gun to turn into a DMR. You can turn your sniper into a more mobile, agile recon weapon. You can turn your sniper rifle into like a heavy sniper with armor-piercing rounds so you can damage vehicles. Same with the marksman rifle. As for specialists, we have Boris, Falk, McKay, and Casper. Each specialist is pretty unique as we see them in the beta. I find that I often end up playing Boris or Casper because they're better for solo play in case you're not playing in a fully communicating squad. Boris is great because he can hold his own with his sentry turret. You set that thing up in a corner or in a high position. It'll spot enemies through walls and engage them, so you can make a flank and kill them while they're busy with the turret. It's awesome. The turret constantly spots whatever it can. It's super useful specialist ability. Casper's little recon drone is also fantastic. You just set that thing up above an objective, it can watch your flanks and spot enemies. Just keep an eye on your radar and you'll know exactly what's going on everywhere, so you can make pushes and flanks all around the objective. It is super useful. McKay is also super great if you like playing aggressive and just like to get the height advantage on someone right away. I've been trying to use the grapple hook to swing across ledges and such like they said you could. It takes a bit of doing, but it is totally possible. You just have to know when to detach, or else you'll just bump into the wall and start falling. I think Falk is maybe the least interesting specialist we have. Her Soretti pistol is useful at times, but rarely ever do I see it used unless you're self-healing yourself. But I find that the health regen speed, since I don't think there's a health cap like in Battlefield 5 or 1 of you regenerating health, I think you go back up to full health after a while, so I don't really see the need for it. Her specialist ability, to me at least, I found no use for. Yeah, sure, I can heal my teammates in a pinch, but there's never enough people around for me to warrant shooting them. And the time to kill is great. I like where it is, but it's so fast that I never really find myself having time to shoot my teammates with the Soretti pistol to save them. Don't get me wrong, the ability to revive any teammate you see on the ground is fantastic. I do think reviving teammates could use some work. I don't like the fact that it glues you into position and that you can't move around while you revive. You pull out 2 defibrillators, you smack them together, you hit the guy, but the issue is the posture and positioning of your soldier doesn't change. So if you're standing up holding a rifle, the only thing that will change is what's in your hand, and that makes it super easy for enemies to just pick you off. I liked Battlefield 5's revive, or 4's even, because in Battlefield 4 you can move around while you rub your defibrillator paddles together, try and dodge some bullets as you zap your teammates back up. And even Battlefield 5, there was a set animation of your soldier ducking down to the ground, so you were harder to hit. I just think that reviving teammates is suicidal in this because there is no alternate animation that will throw off someone's aim, the ability to move around while you revive. I just don't think that system works very well. If this is just temporary and they have another solution in mind, I am super excited to hear what it is. On to vehicle combat. It feels like tanks are in a good spot. I don't see too many of them on the battlefield, and I never really see them dominating anything. As in every battlefield ever, if you know how to use a vehicle really well and you have a dedicated engineer or even yourself to repair your tank every time you fall back from engagements, it's infinite life and you're super powerful against every single ground enemy. The BTR compared to the MBT, both are capable of taking out each other. Obviously the tank has an advantage, but with the speed you can flank and get around the turret's slow turning speed. When in the driver's seat of most vehicles, looking left and right or even in the gunner's seat is incredibly slow. Maybe it's supposed to be slow on purpose to keep vehicles from zapping the targets and wiping people out. I know Battlefield 4 had a little bit of that issue, but I just don't like how sluggish it is. If you get into the driver's seat of the light vehicle, the quad, or the truck, and you try and look left and right, it's like there's insane mouse dampening speed on it for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe to keep people from shaking their heads and getting motion sick. I have no clue. It's bad. I haven't seen a setting for it. If there is one that I've missed, let me know in the comments to turn that off, because that is, it's not good. Aerial vehicle combat, jet combat, and helicopter combat are pretty good, except for the way helicopters fly. This may be exclusive to the Little Bird and whatever the twin-engine American aircraft is. By the way, the American transport vehicle is super cool. It has the ability to switch its flight mode from VTOL to like jet. It's super cool. It's amazing watching how fast that thing can go, and it just takes off like a jet. Really awesome, actually super cool. The Little Bird helicopter, as always, is a constant pest on any objective that's open air. You will have those things buzzing you all day, trying to blow you up with rockets and miniguns, shooting out flares constantly and only coming back to combat once its flares have recharged, or it's doing crazy flips and backflips to dodge your fire, all sorts of crazy stuff. That's just a thing that happens with Battlefield, and I'm glad it's back. Jet combat, I don't really see any jets engaging ground targets. That may be because we can't customize the jets yet, so they only have anti-air missiles, but I've seen the machine gun do some damage to people and air vehicles sitting still. I've been in a few dogfights. They've actually been really fun, but that may be because nobody actually knows what anyone's doing, or I've learned how to fly jets properly for once. But I find dogfights are super entertaining. They're super cool. It's fun flying between buildings on orbital, trying to dodge each other's missiles. It's a blast. So that means now we're just on to how the game actually plays, as is in objectives. Capturing sectors is a lot of fun. It's actually a great version of Conquest. It's super fun. I thought it'd be crazy hectic and it'd be impossible to control any sector because there'd be so many people in each sector. But no, like true Battlefield fashion playing Conquest, if you manage to wipe out an entire objective and it's being captured, no one will spawn on it, and you'll just be able to take over that building, and then you'll have a launching point to attack the next section in the sector, and it just keeps rolling like that, watching teams push each other back and forth, and it's always fun. The one thing I dislike about the map Orbital is the amount of open air, but again, that's what the vehicle menu is for. Never forget that you have it, and if you could spawn in a vehicle, just do it. I haven't seen a point system tied to it. I thought it'd be like the Battlefield 5 squad leader, call-in airstrikes and vehicle thing, but it doesn't seem to be. At least I couldn't tell that there was any points connected to it, but it's a super useful system. Please use it. It's criminally underused. I never see people using it, and they're just sprinting for miles across the map. Just call in a Jeep, crash it into an objective, bail out, and go kill some dudes. Super easy. It's a lot of fun. Just do it. Weather events. I haven't encountered any yet. I have not seen a single tornado or hurricane or anything. I haven't had the rocket explode on me yet. I don't even know if that's in the beta. I've seen a storm once, but it only showed up at the very end of the match. It was around the Alpha sector near the Russian HQ, I think it was. I didn't have time to run over because the game was at 17 tickets, and I spawned on top of the rocket hangar and I tried to sprint into it. Didn't have time, couldn't make it. Really unfortunate. The second I'm picked up by one of those, though, I'm just going to release a video on only that because it seems super, super cool. I cannot wait to have more of those happen. They do seem to be pretty rare, and I have not seen one, so it's interesting. But the weather does change dynamically. It'll go from sunny day to monsoon. Very cool stuff. Squad play, there's not really too much to it. You can spawn on squad mates like always. There doesn't seem to be any real incentive other than you can revive each other, and I haven't really had squad mates that care, or for the fact of that matter, actual squad mates. I only seem to be put in squads of 1 to 2 people, which is really strange, but that's okay. It's probably just a beta thing or my region. AI soldiers. That is a super interesting concept to talk about. I love the implementation of them so far. However, I do find their AI to be pretty stupid, but that may be on purpose. AI soldiers are super easy to distinguish. If you remember the reveal trailer, there's a bunch of those faceless, nameless soldiers. Those are the AI soldiers. They have dozens of different looks from what I could tell. I didn't really see too many overlapping. I saw a few familiar silhouettes, but they all seemed pretty unique, so they're probably randomly generated. At the end of every username, it'll say AI, and they'll have a specific outfit. So you have the Russians, horribly stand out on this map. They have the digital winter camo, very easy to tell who they are. The US AI soldiers have a more olive drab green with a few orange highlights. Both are easily distinguishable as to who's on your team. Unfortunately, hostile specialists and your own team even are kind of hard to distinguish. It's a sort of game sense thing. You can't really explain how you can tell the difference, but you look at them and you see there's a lack of a blue circle indicator anywhere near them. They're most likely shooting at you, or there's an orange dot over their head. Sometimes you can get mixed up. I know that when I'm close to teammates, it's harder to tell who's on my side and who's not. So I often find myself sometimes accidentally shooting friendlies every once in a blue moon. That's okay. That could be fixed in the future. As long as you're paying attention to your mini-map and the screen and the radar, you will probably have no issue identifying targets, so keep that in mind. And other than that, guys, I don't think there's much else to talk about. The ribbons feel good to earn. Earning EXP is fine. It seems like a pretty decent pace for the full game. I think it's good the way it is right now. Although, of course, I don't know how many ranks there will be. Based off the article I covered a week or so ago on my channel, they said you went up to S levels, which are just like prestiges or something like that. Very interesting. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts on the beta after day 1. I think it was super fun to play. I'm going to be playing this every single day. I'm also going to be posting every single day for at least a week. I have a lot to cover on this. I just wanted to touch on every single subject I could in the first video. After this, we'll be specializing into specific topics after this video. But other than that, this was just a blast to play. I had so much fun that I cannot wait to play more of this game for the next 4 days. And remember that if you want early access, pick up a subscription to EA Play or pre-order the game on your preferred platform and opt into the open beta. For those of you wondering how to do it on Steam, my previous video explains how to do that. Yeah, that's all I got, guys. I'll cut my rambling here. Thanks so much for watching the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed or found the video helpful. Subscribe and turn on post notifications so you do not miss a single video on this beta. I cannot wait to make more videos on this. And be sure to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the beta. I would love to hear them. I would love to know what the community thinks of this. Alright, that's all I got, guys. I'll see you in the next one.